Hello and welcome to TestCenter IQ Profiles and Views training. Today we'll review the functionality and features of the profiles and views in TestCenter IQ. We'll start with a slide presentation and follow with a demo of TestCenter IQ. What are profiles and views? A view is a display of result data. This could be a standard table, a drill down table, a chart, other representations of the data, such as health indicators. A profile is composed of one or more of these views. This controls the content and the layout of the results that are displayed. In this profile, there are 5 different views. Profiles provide the custom viewing options for analyzing and reporting of the data. They're able to provide different perspectives on the same data. In the diagram, you see a representation of the data being stored in the PostgreSQL database. TestCenter IQ stores the test results in the database, but the test can be viewed in many ways. In this case, the example shows the same test being viewed in 2 different profiles. All the filtering, the sorting, the column editing, the rearranging of the views, and the analysis is done in the UI. The test data itself remains unchanged in the database. In TestCenter IQ, there are 3 types of profiles. The system profile, which are the Spirent-created profiles that ship with the product, and then the user profiles, which are the system profiles that have been edited by the user and saved for reuse. The recommended profiles are a subset of the user and the system-defined profiles. The recommended section of the profile library is intended to guide the user towards profiles that best match his test type. Test type is a label that coordinates the test results with the test configuration. Note here, this profile has a test type of all and traffic. What is test type? Test type is a tag that can be added by the application to the test results and to the profiles. These test types are applied by the system. These are not user-defined or user-applied tags. Spirent Test Center adds these tags. They're added on the apply, and the tags are updated as the configuration changes. Other applications may not use these tags. A smart match is done matching the test type tags that are in the test results to the appropriate profile. This gives the user the best starting layout for analyzing his test results. This starting profile is called a default profile in TestCenter IQ. An example workflow is an STC test is run with BGP and L2, L3 traffic configured. Then STC would tag the test with 2 tags, BGP and traffic. When the test is run and the TestCenter IQ results show in the results library, the same tags will be shown, traffic and BGP, shown in this example. By default, when the user opens this test, by clicking on the hyperlink of the test name, the user will see a profile with appropriate system-assigned views. In this example, the default profile shown has BGP views. You'll see the summarized BGP session results, the BGP chart, and other BGP views. The user does not have to use the system-assigned default profile. By default, out of the box, the Spirent-defined default profile is assigned, but the user can choose to change what the default profile is for each set of tags. Or once the user has opened his test, he can always choose a different profile. The user merely highlights a profile in the profile library and drags it into this main profile workspace. As you can see in the example, for the traffic test, There are 5 currently recommended profiles. The default profile is indicated with this small d and shown again in the system-defined profiles because recommended is merely a subset, a handy way to find the best profiles for the test. And this recommended section applies to views as well. In this example, basic results is current profile. It's a system profile shown by the icon. The current action is the BGP results is being selected and dragged into Profile workspace. The user can still pick any profile and put it into the Profile workspace. It doesn't have to be from the recommended section. Although in this example, no BGP was in the test, so if the user chooses a BGP results profile, some of the views may have no data. They'll load, but they'll have a notation that says no data available. TestCenter IQ has many types of views available. I'd like to do an overview of those now. The standard or flat table is similar to the classic results table, although TestCenter IQ has increased functionality. The drill down table supports dynamic filtering to focus on specific data. Click left to right through the interactive drill down path above the data columns. Aggregated statistics appear at different levels. The user can click, for example, one or more rows, then move left to right by clicking on the port name in this example and see data specific only to his choices. The key value table is a standard table that's been rotated 90 degrees. So rather than column headers, there are row headers on the left and one or more data columns. The health indicator view gives a test overview at a glance. Each indicator tile displays the name and error criteria for one health indicator. The tiles represent benchmark protocol and traffic measurements that help the user monitor traffic and test conditions. To look at the data reported in an error tile, click the icon. This action opens a table. The column that contains the error data is highlighted in red. This gives easy, quick access to test errors. The time series chart view displays a customizable time series chart of test data. Select a line chart, a bar chart, or an area chart to visualize the test data. The user can zoom in and out of a specific time range by clicking the time slider to either side. The user can also superimpose events on the chart and add and delete series for protocols and traffic statistics. The XY chart view type visualizes data relationships for non-time series data. The user can select the values to be charted on each axis. Both a left and a right Y-axis are supported. The event notification dashboard is the newest view. Event tiles represent critical, error, and warning events in the system. Clicking on a tile gives detailed information for each event. While there are many types of views, the views themselves have many common actions. Let's review those. In order to move a view, the user clicks on this corner and drags the view into place. Collapsing or minimizing the view is done by the icon in the top right. And in order to resize the view, grab the corner and move in or drag out. View can also be duplicated. This creates a copy of the current view. Then the user can edit and save as a user view. So the typical workflow is to have a system view, create a copy, make your edits, and rename it and save it in the library as a custom user view. Removing a view, click here, removes it from the current workspace. None of the view edits or duplication or removing is saved unless the user explicitly saves these changes, both to the view and to the profile. Let's move on to how to edit a view. The text fields in a table view, such as port name or stream block name, can be searched by clicking on this search icon. The add conditions is for filtering, and we'll cover that in the next slide, as well as column layout. Change units is supported in column headers. Where supported, the unit itself is underlined with a hyperlink. Clicking on this will allow the user to change the units for this column or all columns of this type in the view. The columns also support sort, and this sort is done over the entire current data set returned by the query. So there's no limit, no row limit at all. The entire data set in the database has the filters applied to it, if there are any. Let's say you only want streams with drop count over a certain value. And then within that, the sort is applied to your viewing area. That way, no statistics are missed. This is a big enhancement in TestCenter IQ over previous classic results. Now let's cover add conditions in depth. The add conditions dialog is used to construct filters to narrow the data shown in the view. Again, this is applied over the entire data set. Filters are constructed using the Boolean operations and or, and all the operators such as greater than, less than, equal, contains, not contains. A complex filter can be constructed and then added as a condition. Additionally, a preview is done by applying this filter and showing the user how many results are found. This can immediately validate or invalidate the filter that's being applied. The Add Conditions dialog is found in the main view menu. These three lines are typically called a hamburger menu, and this hamburger menu is seen throughout Spirent web applications. The Edit action, also found under the hamburger menu, allows the user to manage the columns in the view name. A column can be added using the plus sign or removed using the X. Columns can be reordered with the move up and the move down. And the view itself can be renamed in this dialog. Additionally, if the user only wants to reorder the columns, rather than using the move up and move down, hover over a column, and then when the double arrow shows, just drag the column into place. Some header columns are not movable, so that the view would not become unreadable, but most columns can be moved simply by dragging and dropping. The export of the data within the view is also supported by TestCenter IQ. Within the table views, the user can support either CSV or JSON format. Chart views are exported using the PNG or JPEG or SVG of the current chart. The chart is zoomed in. The actual JPEG would show the viewing area of the chart. In the case of tables, the exported data contains all data filtered into the UI view. So if there are conditions applied to the table and the table is sorted, then that's data that gets exported as CSV or JSON. And like all TestCenter IQ files, the exported file is saved to the browser downloads folder. This includes exported data files, CSV, JSON, the test files, reports. Anything exported from TestCenter IQ is saved to the default downloads folder for your browser. The View Query option in the hamburger menu displays the actual query that is being used by the UI to retrieve results. This is a useful starting point for automation queries. The user can actually make changes to the table, removing columns, moving columns, adding columns, and then that query shows in the View Query dialog and can be used in the automation scripts. The refresh rate option controls the refresh rate at which the UI queries the database during a live test. This is not the rate that the IL and the BLL communicate. This is only the rate at which the UI retrieves data from the actual PostgreSQL database. And lastly, a couple more options. The About This View gives some detailed system information regarding the view, and all the views support an info box pop-up with detailed information about the view. Now let's take a look at profiles and views in TestCenter IQ. Let's get started. Let's start by choosing a recently completed traffic test. The test tag is traffic. This is the test name, which I created. Click on this test, open it in the result dashboard. It's opened with a traffic profile, basic results. This is the indication of the default profile being used for this test. The tags for this profile are all or traffic. This profile is located in the recommended section, which again is a subset of all my user and system profiles. I can also see this profile in the system-defined profiles. Again, it's marked with the D for default. And my user profiles exist in this space. So let's look at putting a different profile in this space. Let's choose a BGP profile. I'll move it into the space. As soon as it goes green, I get the indication to go ahead and drop it. I let go of the cursor and the profile is loaded. It now becomes obvious I did not have any BGP in this test. It was strictly a back-to-back L2, L3 traffic test. To verify the data is there, let's look at views. And I've moved to the view library by clicking this toggle. Let's just put a basic traffic result table into this profile. And now you can see the data in a flat table. Let's review again the test type tags. I'll go back to the result library. I'm warned I've made some changes to my profile, but I'm not interested in saving them at this time. So let's continue back. As you can see, here's a BGP test that has traffic and BGP tags, an RFC test with RFC 2544 and throughput tags. Let's adjust this out to show the tags. So if I click on a BGP test, my default profile is a BGP profile, and here's my data. This gives the user a starting point for his analysis that's more in tune with what the configuration contains. The user can make more changes to this profile by adding views, deleting views, rearranging the views. So let's look at some of those operations. I can move my views. Let's look at one more profile view. Let's go to the result library again. I'll open it in a new tab. I'll dismiss the welcome dialog, get started on my own, and let's look at the 2544 test that was saved in June. Open the test. Again, a default profile is matched with the test type. Here's my default profile being marked, and some other choices of profiles that may be compatible with my test. Now to review the view layout features. Let's move this view, grabbing this corner. I can move it down to another row. I can collapse the view. Now this view will take the entire second row. Moving further down, there's my summarized basic traffic results, which move to the third row, and my collapsed port frame rate chart. I can maximize this view again. I can realign these views. I can decide that I want to move this view to be a little bit smaller. I can duplicate this view. Let's click on the hamburger menu. Duplicate. And now I've got a copy. And notice the icon now is a person icon, meaning this is a user view. And this is my original system view. I can edit this view, change the name. I can remove a couple of columns and maybe insert a column. Let's move this column up. It'll be the first column after our header column. I can search, see if I want to add another column. Let's search on TX, which searches only the left side for columns to be inserted. And I'm going to put back the transmit count, but I'm going to keep it at the end. Apply these changes. And now I have a new name. I have my new columns. You can see the traffic count, the transmit count is moved to the end. My inserted column. I can also just rearrange the columns. Here's the arrow. Let's move this column all the way down here. I can save this view. And now it's been saved to the view library. Let's go to the view library by clicking again on this toggle between the two libraries. Let's collapse our recommended, our system defined. And let's look. I can search and find my new traffic view. Now that I have my new traffic view, perhaps I want to remove the original system view. So let's remove this view. And note that my profile is no longer saved. I have edited the system profile. Again, I can remove a view by clicking Remove. Now let's search one of our string fields. Numeric fields within the data are not searchable this way, but with this quick search, I can search for something in a string field, such as a snapshot name or a port name or stream block name. How about I search for any snapshots that are 256? Now I've filtered my data. I have only 2 results, and this is over the whole data set. This is a 2544 throughput result, but let's say I just want to look at it in a basic traffic profile. I've made some changes. I'm experimenting. I could save this profile, but let's just move to the Profile tab and pick one of my recommended profiles again. Here's our basic results. I'm going to replace it. I'm going to collapse the health indicators for now. Let's look at our summarized basic traffic results. This is a drill down table. I can pick just a couple of iterations, single clicking, and then click to drill down, and I see only the port information linked to those 2 iterations. And here the label has been changed to show you what was selected. But let's say I want to filter in this view. I can add a condition. Let's say I want the generator signature count to be greater than, let's say 12461. Tells me that I've got 9 results. I said, okay, let's see what those are. I'll apply the condition. There we go. I can sort these. Or I can sort again by the snapshot name. Changing units is also supported. You can change the bits to gigabits and change it for this column or all fields of this type in this particular view. You can change the precision. Save changes. So there we have the precision and the units changed for all columns of this type. So each of these that has a unit that can be changed is underlined, and it's a hyperlink. There's no other units, so there's no hyperlink. The edit dialog, which we've looked at already, is used in a table to control which columns are present and in what order. For a chart, it controls what series are present. The edit dialog is used to change the data that shows in the particular view. Charts are covered in depth in another training session. Let's add another view. We'll get a standard table. We'll look at one of the basic tables. Notice with the view, there are indicators where it can be inserted. And when it's in place, the message, go ahead and drop it. So let's insert it here. This view's moved to the right. This is a standard table and supports the export as. I can export as CSV or JSON. The data set that's been filtered to the UI is exported either as CSV or JSON. If I apply a filter, say less than 30 results, apply this condition, I rearrange these columns, and then I export the data as CSV. Again, the exported file is in my Downloads folder. And the data is exported. So first the filtering was performed against the whole data set, and then I can export the result. For charts, let's say I choose to see just one iteration of data. This is what happened in a particular iteration of this test. I want to export it to JPEG. Let's take a look at this. And here you have the chart. To wrap up, there's the info for each of the types of views. This is the standard table view with help that's specific to that view. Drill down table view, chart help. So let's look one more time from start to finish. I'll move back to my result library. And I'll choose a test. Looking at the date the test is run, this test was 2544 throughput. And let's click on the name. And the test is loaded into the default profile. I'm going to move these up a little by using the corner. You can look at the chart. This is our time series chart, our health indicator view, our standard table view, our drill down view, and let's move in an XY chart. I ran a throughput test. So of these recommended views for 2544, this looks like the best match for me. So let's put this in and see my data on the XY chart. And once again, for more information on these and other topics, visit the Quick Start Guide available from the Help menu. Thank you, and look for more TestCenter IQ training sessions.